Welcome, everyone, to the Suit Up Podcast. I am your host, Stephen Adkins. Thank you so much for joining us today. Before we get started, I always like to say, it would be a great honor if you would subscribe and like the channel. That way that we can keep producing excellent content for you. So that's real simple to do. Doesn't cost you anything but a little bit of time to hit that like and subscribe button. So today I have the great pleasure having one of my great friends with me, Mr. Ryan Azia. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well, thank you.
Good to see you, my friend. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you do, and then we're going to deep dive into some good stuff today.
Man, I don't usually talk about myself, so
today's the day, brother.
Let's see. I'm a artist, designer, photographer, videographer, all around creative director, creative, consultant. So I do a lot of things.
And what's the official title with RVA Fashion Week?
Former executive director, but now creative director.
Creative director. That's a great role for you too, brother.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It was a long time in the making.
Oh, yeah. And as I say, Ryan and I go way back. We've known each other for quite some time.
Yes.
We've had a lot of good coffee table discussions on everything, right?
Right.
It's been a wide variety of business, fashion stuff, how each of us are growing individually,
right,
supporting one another.
Right.
It's been a lot. We've had a really good friendship, haven't we, bud?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So one of the things that I wanted to get into is like how we met.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
I do.
You got to fill me in because I'm a little fuzzy. So I need you to like give me that again so that all of a sudden I can, that's right. So,
Okay. So when was it? I think post-COVID.
yeah, of course.
Yeah. Pre-COVID.
Yes.
Let me pre-COVID.
Yeah.
I was basically a designer. I was filling in for a designer. And I think you were with a certain brand at one time. So you couldn't really model for other brands.
That's right.
So
I remember that now.
It just so happened that I do streetwear as well. So there was no conflict of interest for you.
Not at all. Not at all.
So you walked for me.
That's right.
One of my designs.
That's right.
And you modeled it well. And then I think at that point we just hit it off. And started talking about it. So.
I thought the designs were really, really cool and unique. You have an awesome eye when it comes to design. And I do remember that now. It was kind of a, you were in season, out of season, whatever they needed at the moment. And you put the designs together and had it ready to rock and roll. And it was a great show. It was a great show. Yeah, that was, gosh, I'm trying to remember. Was that 4 years ago, maybe 3-4 years ago?
About 3-4 years.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of that stuff, it was during that time, social commentary as my, design and things like that.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So as all of these things that you listed that you do, naturally that makes you an entrepreneur.
Yes.
So as a fellow entrepreneur, that was one of the things that we really clicked over.
Yep.
Because if you're anything like me, which I think you are, unless you have like 10 things going on at one time, you feel like something's off.
You're right.
Right?
If I'm not stressed out.
If I'm not stressed,
If I'm not stressed out, something's wrong.
But it's a good stress.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that. What are some of the, the current passions that you have that you're really focusing on currently? I know that you listed some of them, but some of them may be at the top of the list more than others.
Art, 1000%.
Yeah.
Art is probably the biggest thing. I mean, art's kind of what got me into design, what got me into the photography and everything. But I think because of the photography, it has taken away from the art.
Oh, okay.
Because people are deferring me as a photographer when that just happened to be a byproduct of the art.
Yeah.
So the art is the passion. But
what type of art?
Multimedia.
Okay.
Everything.
Okay.
It kind of started, I was kind of just like messing around on magazine images, things like that.
Yeah.
And then I just thought to myself, man, there's a copyright issue going on here. So I was like, you know what? I got a lot of good looking friends. So let me just start taking their pictures and then appropriating my own images into artwork.
Yeah.
So
do you feel like that it's therapeutic to you?
The artwork?
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny you say that because insomnia is a big thing with entrepreneurs. I don't know if it's a thing. I think it's just one of those, anxiety.
The mind is always going.
So one of my like artwork has to deal with like repetitive images and things like that, or repetitive like strokes,
Yeah.
whether it's like brush strokes or pen strokes or whatever. And then that in itself is therapeutic. So I was originally doing these like nonstop patterns over and over again, and then that's what,
Intentionally doing it? Okay.
because it was calming enough for you to just be like, this is bored, I'm finally falling asleep.
Gotcha.
But then it kind of turned into these like little mazes within an image. So
Those are some of my favorite.
yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't really like put too much out, but I think I might be doing an exhibition very soon in regards to that.
Awesome. Well, we'll definitely have my audience will keep the details up on something like that because I enjoyed it and I thought it was amazing.
Yep.
So in a way it was therapeutic.
Very.
It was almost, filling a need, but it was a passion as well.
Right.
Yeah. That's really cool. So now that you are saying more of artistry is where your main, you said 1,000%, right? Where are you finding your inspirations?
Everywhere. I would definitely say I find inspiration in uninspiring things.
Elaborate. What do you mean?
Well, I have some friends who are just, they're just very, they feed off of whatever the public tells them. They haven't really formed their own opinion on certain things. You know what I mean?
Easily persuaded?
Easily persuaded, easily, I wouldn't say gullible, but it's just like they don't do their due diligence in a way.
Okay.
And those are some of my most inspiring friends.
Wow.
Believe it or not, because they'll do things and I'm like, why would you do that? And then I think about them like, oh, that's trending. And then,
Turn it into art?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like even social media,
Well,
it's just like you see these things that happened over and over again. And what's interesting is it becomes mundane, but because a certain person did it differently, it's all of a sudden interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Even just a normal everyday thing that's mundane, but somebody puts a little bit of a twist on it, it becomes viral or it's the new sensation.
Like you could go to a Starbucks and order a cafe latte and every person's going to make it different.
Good
But
point.
that's a very uninspiring drink if you think about it.
It's very plain Jane.
But yeah, one day you might get one because the stars aligned. It was the right person who made it.
I've had that happen. I'm like, man, this is amazing today.
Maybe the machine was clean.
The machine was clean.
Yeah.
Oh man, bro. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So yeah, I do find inspiration in everything, but I especially find it in the mundane.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Do you feel like that, you being so focused on your artistry and your artwork, has that translated into your photography? Do you feel like that you're doing the same type of artistry work within your photography?
Yes.
If that's possible.
So actually, when I first started doing photography, I was so behind because it wasn't what I was wanting to do,
Did it suck you in
Yeah, it sucked me in big time.
by other people?
I'm drowning in photography right
Right,
now.
really?
It's actually very stressful. But when I first started doing photography, originally I had a business partner and he would take my images for me. I would design clothes and stuff like that, create an ad campaign. He would take the images. But then when I moved to Richmond, I didn't have him anymore.
Right.
So I just got some cheap camera off of Facebook Marketplace.
Right.
And just started taking pictures. But what happened was, I guess the pictures came out well enough for people to believe I was a photographer.
Wow.
So I was like, all right, now I got to live up to this hype. So I just started taking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds to thousands pictures, to tens of thousands. I can verify that because my Lightroom is jam-packed right now. And
do you like the old school cameras as well?
Yeah.
Other than digital?
Yeah. But digital, so this kind of goes back and why I like digital is because I think at one point someone asked me what my style of photography was.
I was going to ask you that.
And we all know, you and I know that we do black and white because of my eye issues.
Right.
But whenever anyone would ask me, I would say it's speed. Speed is my style.
Okay.
Because mentally I had to catch up to all these other photographers who've been doing this for years.
I like how you said speed is your style. Do you feel like that you like to catch in the moment?
Right.
And
catch in the moment, but also I had pre-planned the way my shots were going to go.
Oh,
I always knew this certain look would always go. So even if I was having a bad day or an off day, I would make sure I captured a certain set of images where,
Are they your go-tos?
yeah, the go-tos.
I got you.
So that was the foundation of everything. And then from there, once I got those shots, I could experiment. Yeah.
So you are able to kind of use your artistry a little bit
Right.
within your photography.
Mm-hmm. But then I would take those images and then later turn them into art.
See, so
Yeah.
you get the twofold. You get to
Right.
take the image and
Right.
do it however you want. Well, is there a particular do you work with natural light a lot, or do you do more natural lighting or stage lighting? What is your preference?
Natural light for sure.
Okay.
But not. So that goes back to like when I first started it, everyone was shooting in the golden hour.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to be like everybody. So I started shooting in the worst possible lighting, noon, 1, 2 o'clock, rainy conditions. And I was always late for the golden hour. So I just started shooting in the blue hour and I started shooting at night. So I think it is natural light that I like to shoot with, but
Yeah.
not in the standard times.
I like that.
So
Well, because of doing all of this photography and artistry, do you travel a lot?
yes.
So talk about your travels. Like, why are you traveling so much? What is it you're doing in your travels?
So usually I just want to get out of town. Like I would go places like, for example, Atlanta. This was the most recent trip. I went to Atlanta just to really go on a soda binge.
Okay.
I'm addicted to soda.
All right. Putting it
Sorry.
out there. Hey, it is what it is, man.
So I went to go out there because, Coca-Cola was invented in
Of
Atlanta.
course.
But they have like knee-high peach drinks, stuff that's so good. So my goal was to go out there and just kind of have drink a lot of soda and eat a lot of like Southern food.
A taste testing journey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
See, but here's the funny thing. Like you go to Atlanta, you eat those foods, right?
Yeah.
Soda is so good with it because the acid breaks down the fat. Anyways, that's a different story.
I got you though.
So I went to Atlanta. I kind of made a post on Instagram stating, I'm in Atlanta for one day. Who wants to shoot? And I was literally just looking for one person to just shoot, be a tour guide, and just kind of whatever, right?
Right.
I don't know if something happened and it got in touch with Select Model Management, who's like the third largest model
Yes.
agency in the world.
Definitely know of them.
So I got in with them and they just asked me some questions and I just kind of sent them an email, basically answering questions or whatever.
Sure.
And I think in the email, I accidentally said something where I was like, yeah, I've shot up to 30 models or whatever. So they jam-packed me with 30 models for like 2 days.
So your one-day trip.
Yeah, it became a work trip.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then from there, you kind of build a reputation of trust with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so now they just start sending you out places or you go places and you can kind of just reach out to these agencies and things like that.
You've kind of done it once. It makes it easier to do it kind of the second time.
Yeah.
So that kind of segues into, as you're developing your personal brand and the fact that you're this high profile photographer, but you were legally blind. So
Right.
let's talk about that. How that is the most amazing thing to think about. Like, I love your work. And some of the times that we did photo shoots together or shortly before was in the worst of times where you really couldn't see.
Yeah. I couldn't see anything.
But your work was like, you knew exactly what you were doing.
So
I can't wait to hear this.
So before I moved to Richmond, I had contracted cataracts, right? So I ended up like getting a surgery or whatever, It was very, life changing for me.
Of course, right?
Because
You're going under the knife.
you're going on a knife, yeah.
eyes?
Sure, eyes, right?
Right.
So I think when I started getting secondary cataracts, I didn't have health insurance. I was just kind of going through the motions.
Winging it.
Yeah. I started this new career as a creative, gave up my accounting job, in DC and came here and was just like, oh my gosh.
Bookmark that goes to show all the things that you have to take a risk with in order to branch out as that creative or entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It's not, what is it, unicorns and rainbows all the time.
Mm-mm.
Right? All right, so
Yeah.
go ahead.
So
go ahead.
I quit my safety net, which is a job that I hated, moved into a place where I really, was kind of just brand new, losing my eyesight, lying to everybody, no help. Like I was really like taking a big gamble.
Yeah.
And I had, I saved enough money to live for off of like 2 years. Like
Right.
I was living the dream. So my biggest thing was I didn't tone down my lifestyle one bit. I was still traveling. I was doing whatever I wanted.
No job.
No job.
But I got this.
No job, no nothing. But yeah, so it wasn't until like, I started getting like having a really, really hard time seeing.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man, this is not good, But at that point in time, I had splurged away a lot. So I was like,
now I got to get to work.
yeah, let me kind of just like take it seriously in
Sure.
a way. And so I basically had like 2150 one eye, 2200 in another eye, and everything was just blurry. And it wasn't until like I was driving home from Fredericksburg on one shoot, it started raining. And I think at that time, like it was so hard to see. But I made it home safely, thank God.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, okay, I can no longer drive at night, first and foremost. And I was like, I'm going to kill somebody or I'm going to kill myself. So I was like,
That's like the 85-year-old lifestyle of I can't drive at night anymore. No offense to 85-year-olds out there, but in reality, you get to that point of I can't drive at night for safety reasons. Right.
And I mean,
and you're a young guy.
Yeah. That's why. And I contracted off of prednisone,
Okay.
taking too much of it.
Got it.
So from like allergies. So be careful.
Touche.
Read those warning labels.
Yes. Yeah. The fine print.
Yeah. When we watch those like commercials with like, side effects cause
Sure.
Yeah. Take it for real.
Take it for real.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't be happy with that whole like, image of joy and people.
Right. They're running around throwing balls and having
That's
a great old time.
temporary.
Yeah. Yeah. The long-term effects.
Yeah.
So you realized, you drove back from Fredericksburg.
Yeah.
You can't do it in the rain. So what was your next?
And so I think at that point I was just like, okay, I need to get these eyes fixed.
Yeah.
But I had to save money, so I was hustling everything just to pay for this next surgery.
Sure.
But I was
You were clicking the photos, right?
yeah, I was
just
clicking it nonstop. Like I was taking
Man, you were hustling there for a while. It was like hard to even get you on the phone because you were traveling and model photography. But the content you were putting out, man,
and I was like, if you couldn't afford my price, I was like, what do you have? $20? I'll take it.
Yeah.
But, that kind of leads into like how the photography is. Because I got that camera, I had learned it so well that
This was that one you said you just went and got one. So you dived into it and you knew it backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
Because
I felt like, when I was my business partner, he Noel, we challenge each other a lot. So when I was taking pictures, I felt like I needed his approval. I felt like I needed approval from everyone on social media.
Okay.
I didn't know any better.
Got it.
So I did my best to really learn this camera, to really like study and things like that. But in actuality, a lot of it is already innate because of art.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
You have the eye for it.
Yeah, I wasn't
Even
taking.
if you really couldn't see it.
Yeah, exactly. So I wasn't taking pictures based off of like. I was taking pictures based off of like paintings and things that I used to see.
Sure.
So yeah, I learned the camera really well that I could just maneuver through it. So I had to stay with that ecosystem.
Point and click, right?
Right.
Just point and click.
I had to stay with that ecosystem, with
Understood.
that camera brand. And I just knew if I could get you in the center, I had a chance to take a good shot.
Man, that is amazing to have to live that lifestyle.
Yeah, and then because of the the whole like not seeing anything, I tried to do color and it was just impossible for me. So that's why most of the pictures are in black and white.
And now you're known so much.
Yeah, for black and white.
For your black and white.
Yeah.
Like if someone said black and white, it's Ryan.
Yeah.
You got to go Ryan.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool how something just that totally off the cuff of saying, the blind photographer, but the work that you put out is just unbelievable.
Yeah. And I never said anything for like a good 2 years.
I knew in passing. You told me on the side passing, and I was like, man, I didn't believe you. I thought you were pulling our leg. It's like, man, whatever, man.
I mean, yeah, and I always, when you saw me, I always had someone near me, and I would always be like, hey, can you read this for me? Like, they kind of were like helping me, seeing eye person, in case I couldn't drive.
It's after the fact now you look back and you're like,
Yeah.
Now I see it.
Yeah.
Right.
But I had asked them, these were people close to me. I'm
Of
like,
course.
hey, can you help me?
Inner circle people.
Yeah.
Inner circle. Do you now that you can see better, obviously,
Right.
You're on this side of it. Has your style changed? Or are you still within that ecosystem?
Oh,
Cameras changed?
no.
Okay.
I've played around with a lot of cameras, but they're on sale for eBay if you just look it up. But no, the style is still black and white. Like even let's say we were to do a shoot right now, I will turn it black and white before just to see it better.
Okay.
And then if I want to color grade it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But it will always be black and white first, no matter what.
I love that. I love that. And that's, to me, I wouldn't think a photographer would be that way.
Yeah.
But you've always kind of liked to go against the grain anyway. That's a creative, right?
Yep. Yep.
We want to do something totally different.
Yeah.
How so you're being an entrepreneur and you've had your hands in multiple pots. How is that journey of entrepreneurship? Because you did have a safety net for a while. You were in corporate America.
Great safety net.
Yeah, of course. But now that you're on this side of it and you're an entrepreneur, how has that changed you? Or has it changed you at all?
I'll tell you this, I feel like I've been an entrepreneur all my life.
Okay.
I mean, down to high school, when I'm hustling candy.
Right.
I mean, even when kids would pencil fight, I would try to sell a pencil and say this is the best pencil for pencil fighting. It was all sorts of stuff,
Yeah.
And then hustling did get me go down a wrong path, but it was always about the game of seeing what I could do.
The hunt.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So
you've had that all along,
right.
but it wasn't activated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So even you as an entrepreneur, I would make a lot of money, but I would blow it the next day because as a young guy, healthy, you always feel like you're promised tomorrow.
Or I'll make it back tomorrow.
Yeah. If I could do this once, I could do it twice.
Oh, man.
Right? So it wasn't until I think this third time around where I'm just I'm not doing it for myself, just kind of help people.
Yeah.
Build their brand, do other things. But yeah.
So do you think that it's changed you in a way of now you're more empathetic to others?
Right.
And realizing, now that, I look at a lot of what I do, I got involved because I wanted to show what was possible.
Yeah.
And then now as our platforms get bigger, now I feel like who can I bring along with me?
Right.
Within that, realm of whatever it is.
And you can't help everybody.
No.
Yeah.
And nor do we want to, but we at least want to set an example or be there for each other and our creatives for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Excited to bring one of our sponsors to you today, Two Roads Hat Company. Two Roads Hat Company has been an amazing company to work with. It is one of the companies that Silver Fox Squad uses, and we call it the perfect brim. They have a great versatility of looks in straw and in felt. I absolutely love Two Roads. It's a small business, which we love to promote, and it's made here in America. So this is a great opportunity for you to go to tworoadshatscompany.com and pick up one of your new perfect brims. All right, guys, today's show was sponsored by my very own company, Fox Edge Grooming Products. So we have a whole line of men's grooming products that I personally use and personally helped kind of formulate and come up with the idea and concept. We use all natural ingredients, and believe you me, the whole line smells fantastic. I love it. Anybody that ever smelled it says, wow, this stuff smells great. So if you want to get your own Fox Edge hair care or beard line products, you can go to my website, which is www.stephenadkins.us. And of course, the link will be in the description below. So looking forward to seeing you guys with the Fox Edge. So now we're going to talk a little bit about Fashion Week.
Right.
So this is like the big thing for us, man. I get being a creative and I get being entrepreneurs, but boy, we get juiced up when it's time for our spring and fall Fashion Week.
Yep.
So the first question I like to always ask, and you said a little bit before, but I want to drill down a little more. How did you personally get involved with Fashion Week? And, as you've grown through the ranks as well, you started as a designer.
Yep.
And how did you make the connection? How did you get involved with the designing aspect of Fashion Week? Like, did you reach out to Jimmy, or how did you meet? How did all that start?
So about 8 years ago, yeah, it's been a long time. I was a jewelry designer.
Okay.
I did jewelry and then I did streetwear.
Yeah.
At the time. So 8 years ago, I wasn't really trying to be like part of the show. My whole goal was to go to this show and kind of piggyback my jewelry off of other things. Like, for example, like this little lapel here.
Yeah.
So, but when I got there, I had to show my wares and things to the fashion director at that time.
Yeah.
But what I showed her was designs of the streetwear and how it was styled. And I guess she liked that more. But
And the jewelry part.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was kind of like a hodgepodge thing. She was like, "Oh, do you design for men?" I said, "Actually," and I didn't at the time. So I was just like,
But that's not what you said.
"That's not what I said." I said, "Yeah, of course."
Of course.
Right? Figure it out later. So, yeah, and so that's how it started. I didn't ask Jimmy for any favors. I went through the motions with everything.
Yeah.
Even
Did you know him prior to that?
I did know him prior to that.
So I'm going to pause you for a moment there. I like that. You didn't pull on personal relationships.
Absolutely not.
You went through the motion just like everybody else.
Right.
That's a testament.
Because I think at that time, Jimmy was building a name for himself here in Richmond. I had a small little restaurant in DC, and everyone would come there after hours and hang out.
Right.
Till like 4 a.m. on the weekends after the clubs. And I think at that point, he was just like, yeah, try out for RVA Fashion Week. I was like, all right, cool. So I just did. I didn't tell him.
Right.
I just went through the motions, like learned a lot, you know. Didn't ask favors for nobody. Just like, let's just see, like, is this worthy of it being here? Like, do I belong here?
Yeah.
Because, I didn't learn anything about imposter syndrome until recently. So it was one of those moments where it's just like, let's see what other curators feel about this work.
Absolutely.
And it was
using your peers to kind of judge one way or the other. I get it.
And they weren't my peers. I didn't know any of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, you were like greenhorn. You didn't have any.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that you knew Jimmy, you were like, I'm going to go into this all in.
Right.
And you didn't know the outcome. You really didn't know if you were.
I didn't know. Yeah. I mean, I went through like the whole, process of getting accepted, then a process of fitting, and then the actual show day. It was actually nerve-wracking, but you learn a lot from that. And it was fun.
So with doing that and going through the process, you did the show, you were in, and then, so how did you continue on? Did you want to continue with the relationship with Fashion Week, or what was?
Oh, yeah. So the next following year, I became a sponsor on some of the stuff. And then I think like I took like a small hiatus. And then when I moved back to Richmond, it was still a passion for me. Like, I love designing, right? So I said to him, I said, hey, let me help you in any way possible, you know? So he was like, all right. So he created a specific role for me as a brand strategist. Okay. And from there, we kind of, I wouldn't say manipulate because that sounds devious. We strategized.
You were brainstorming and trying to come up with the strategy. Was this at the point of, we want to change the direction of Fashion Week?
Yes.
Okay.
We changed the direction, changed the whole, like, basically, I guess, the mentality of it.
Yes.
But keeping in mind community first, Richmond first.
Yes.
Always showcase and highlight the talent that's in and around Richmond.
Which we have a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This place is amazing. Like, I'm a fan of this town.
Yeah. I mean, I was born and raised here, so I naturally, but being involved with Fashion Week,
right,
you see so many different ones. You're like, you've been here all along?
Yeah.
Really? Like, where have you been? Like in the model calls.
Right.
Some of the models that I'm seeing, I'm like, where have you been?
Yeah.
So
it's amazing.
You're right. There's tons in Richmond. So go ahead.
Yeah. So, when I spoke to him about it, and we kind of just worked on this strategy, and then all of a sudden, it was working. Yeah. We followed more of how New York was doing it, London, Milan, Paris type deal. And then, wasn't until recently where I'm thinking to myself, Richmond is never going to be the top 4, top 5, right?
Right.
Let's just be like,
Well, size of the city, demographic. I get all that.
History. Like, we're talking about places that have Paris, centuries worth of history and fashion.
They're older than our country, right?
Exactly. So, and then, so my thing was, it's just like to be big enough and to be respected enough east of Atlanta, north of Miami, and south of New York.
Right.
If we have that little triangle and create our own ecosystem, they can pull from here.
You've been working on this for an extended period of time.
Yeah. It took some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very strategically.
Yes.
Your roles changed.
Right.
So from that point, you took on the new role
of executive director. Yep.
So what were you doing then?
Really changing the way things were run in the back, really focusing on a lot of PR, focusing on marketing, things like that. And of course, building a team.
I was getting ready to ask you, like you were responsible. And this is one of the things, like you said, you had like this 2-year vision and you've been strategizing and working of moving pieces on a chessboard. I think you had used that reference in the past of finding individuals that kind of fit a certain way or gel together. Because we all know sometimes when you assemble a team that if there's no synergy within the team or there's too many chiefs, not enough Indians, they're all different personalities and they don't all necessarily jive, it comes out somewhere in either the show or just the way it's done.
And I don't know one fashion show that's not chaotic.
But that's the best part, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, controlled chaos.
Yes. But what's displayed to the public is organized chaos.
Totally. Refined. It looks like it's been put together. But the team that you assembled, we all are pitching in.
Yeah, the team was very unique because my biggest thing was not to just have someone who just wanted to use RVA Fashion Week as clout. Like, oh, I work for RVA Fashion Week, but I don't really do anything. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So
they wouldn't last long.
Yeah. I mean, just the pressure alone, you could easily expose yourself for your weaknesses.
Yes.
And that's in any like high-paced industry like that. But, when building this team, assembling this team, and nothing's ever permanent, but at least the point is if like you build a team or whatever, you want to make sure that that person who's, has that job has vested interest in it.
Yes.
So it's kind of like,
you don't want to just give it to anybody.
Yeah.
And they'll say they'll do it just to do it.
Right.
Then they start regretting it. Then they don't have passion for it.
Right.
And 3 other people are pulling their weight and one's not. It's always that disconnect.
It's just simple math. Like you have 2 people, one's doing 100% of the work, the other's doing 50. 150 divided by 2 is a 75% efficiency rate, right?
Right.
So, when I asked you to come on board, it was kind of a no-brainer to be a model coordinator. You have good rapport with the models, you have experience in it.
Yeah.
It was only a natural transition.
And it was really exciting when you asked about that because I felt like I was right at the point in time that it would be a good fit.
Yeah.
I had just come off of, I think on average, I've done maybe 30 different, runways and started at, the ground zero, just like you, didn't ask for favors, just went through the motions, learned everything about it, perfected my craft, as a male model. And I'm not a young male model. I was a middle-aged model, but I wanted to, again, show
you can do it.
You can do it and absolutely slay it.
Yeah.
And I was able to build a good rapport with all the models, young and old.
Right.
And what's kind of interesting is even when I was modeling a lot of times through fashion, especially in Richmond, they would always be coming to me and asking me, naturally, I don't know if they probably looked at me as a father figure type thing, which I appreciate, but at the sense like, no, I'm more like your uncle. Let's put it that way.
Some type of mentorship. Like,
exactly.
Can you give me some gems?
Yes. Can you help me with this or help me with that? Or what was your past experience?
Right.
So at that point in time, when you asked, I was like, man, I would actually really like to do that. So
and it was very strategic on my end to ask you that.
Right. And that's what I appreciate is that you had been strategizing all along in assembling the team for Fashion Week.
And, when I talk about vested interest, like it was a situation where your name is now on the line as a model coordinator.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's like, are you Stephen Adkins with, the social media following, or are you just Stephen Adkins?
Right. It's you're attaching yourself to something that you're representing a bigger brand, or
Right.
your name and your face is going to be plastered all over the website, and then when the things happen, people are going to be calling upon you, or you're going to be there and they're looking into you to perform your duties, and they're calling on you to do your duties and all that kind of stuff. So it's time you got to perform, and if you don't,
and as you know, the team is not micromanaged,
not at all.
At all.
Doesn't
Jimmy,
need to be.
Yeah. So, and that was also
strategic
because Jimmy doesn't have time to do that.
No, he doesn't. Nor do you.
No. Yeah. So, I guess going into that, once the team was set up, that's when I stepped down from executive director, because now we have a leadership team, a director team, a board, a modeling board. So no one will ever take a full blunt of the public or anything. Like, this is like a team for once.
I love it because nobody has all the responsibility.
Yeah.
And we're all working together. And you're right. It's like 1/5 of this for some one person because there's 4 other players involved.
And within the group, there's always a devil's advocate. There's always, person who's not sure. There's a person who's adamant. But
it balances.
It balances, yeah. The law of averages balances.
I get it. That's really, really cool. So you stepped down from executive director.
Yeah.
And then you took on the new role
of creative director.
So really now, what do you feel like that you get to focus your time and efforts on?
Oh, so with creative director, I get to work with all the departments. And that's fun to me. Like I can work with Chanel, Brittany, their departments. I could work with Michael in the media, could work with Kristen in the logistics, you in the spokesperson, everyone else in the modeling. And then Jimmy, kind of give him my 2 cents.
And it's really neat because you've taken some of the key leadership roles within these departments and created the model board.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So now each of us are, still...
So the modeling thing is a unique situation because, we're in a place of like body positivity and
very much so,
all sorts of like
ages, demographics, all of it.
So things have to be taken into consideration across the board. So it's good to have a modeling board to kind of just,
not one leaning towards one type.
Right. No type of favoritism, no type of,
Or someone bugging you to death because they feel like you're the final decision maker on it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you think how many DMs I've had over that stuff?
I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I know Stephen Adkins.
Yeah, you know me, but can you walk?
And, sometimes... you just because you walked well past couple of years, and one day you just walk the same and then someone walks better than you, that can
come on, man.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that's another great thing. Look at the growth that we're having at these model calls.
Yeah.
I was talking with someone, I don't know if it was Heather or somebody, she was kind of updating me. What are our updated numbers that we had people that were auditioning for that?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Ballpark it. It's been a good amount, wasn't it?
Well, the sign-ins like exponentially went 3 times. Like we would initially like start off with like 200 to 300, all local.
Yeah.
But now that the brand is growing and the team is involved, I'm from the DC area.
Mm-hmm.
You have some people who are,
coming from 757.
Yeah, 757, Central Virginia, North Carolina now. Like I would get calls from people in South Carolina saying, "Hey,
love it.
Can we walk or whatever?"
Can you get here and audition?
Yeah, like last season we had a troupe come down from Michigan.
Yeah, I remember
something
that.
like
I remember
Detroit.
that.
Yeah.
So that's a testament to we're really building an awesome brand.
Yeah,
and that was the whole point all along.
Right.
But I think something Jimmy had sent out, it was like 1,200 people. And that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't always that way.
Wasn't always that way.
No. It was a few here, a few there.
And even those, who applied or didn't show up for the call, that's fine. At least we're on their radar.
They know.
Or
they're having the FOMO because they'll be sending messages, I couldn't make it.
Yeah. Right.
So, hey, it's for everyone to try, but if you can't make it, that just means when the next time.
And it's very, very competitive.
Whew.
Because we can only pick maybe 80 to 120
And when you have 700 people apply,
at least.
yeah, it is, you need to have it tight and right. Like there's, I wanted to elaborate a little bit on this because we're in the Fashion Week vein.
Yeah.
That, for me personally, the time for training is not the time for auditioning.
Right.
And with that many people that are coming, and even there's some times where we would go through it and they'd have just a couple little things that were off that could be, trained through or adjusted, but we're like, that's not the time because there's 2 or 3 right behind you that are spot on.
Yeah.
And we've seen some new faces and some unbelievable, walks. And I'm like, man, it's getting really good, Ryan.
Yeah.
Really good.
And I feel like, at one point where it's just like, okay, you're done. Like, I feel like a lot of people felt, rejected in a way. So I just want to so I learned something recently. It's just like no one's ever really rejected. You just weren't selected.
Correct.
And,
how many times have I gone on model calls? I went to New York City and I talked about this on one of my previous podcasts. I didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
Do you think that just what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Right? Come on now.
Yeah.
It wasn't for that time or that particular season. And here's another thing that's interesting. Just because you've walked for us or been with us for many, many years, the season may change. The designers may change to where we have to make fresh faces or we may have to go in different directions.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the fact that we have created the board and we've had a little more separation because now it's not like, because we have an extended long-term relationship that you're going to be an automatic.
Right.
You may have a leg up because we know you and we know what you can do,
Right.
but that doesn't always mean you're going to get in.
Yeah. And also, I think like a while ago, maybe it was like two years ago. I don't know. But anyways, like I felt like some of these models had an amazing look, even though they couldn't walk. It was just they just had a look. So I would try to, set up a situation where we can use those models as print models.
Sure.
So they still had an opportunity to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And
we've had several discussions even when we're going through our calls.
Yeah.
That we'll look at it like, great, amazing look. And we have such high hopes.
Right.
Right? When they hit the runway, we're like, I'll even say, like we've said, please be able to walk. Please be able to walk.
Yeah.
And then it's just...
It happens. It happens.
It does. But that is giving others opportunities.
Right.
So we do have opportunities as Fashion Week that even if you do it and you can't walk.
Right.
I love the idea of being able to use in print because some have, beautiful faces or their persona or it's a great look.
Yeah.
And it would, print well.
And that's something that I'm still kind of like working on in a way. Just like I want to make sure like when the designers,
of course,
have an opportunity to potentially get, work with a model to have that model represent their brand, or the photographers need like portfolio building.
Of course.
There could be easily a trade.
Yeah.
Trade for portfolios and
because you have some.
Yeah.
Like we have them in our kind of, for lack of better words, like our file folder of saying we could pull from.
Right.
Yeah. So it's great that we do have other opportunities, for those. So now that you're, creative director, being able to work with so many of the team members, the different directors within the teams, where do you see Fashion Week going now?
Well, the goal is, I might get like heat for this, but I want to
go for it, bro.
Right now,
this is my podcast. Let it out the bag. I'll take the heat.
Remember, I was like saying I wanted it to be well known south of New York, east of Atlanta, North Miami, right?
Yeah.
I'm targeting the cities. Okay. First step, I want to be bigger. We're never going to take down DC Fashion Week. Like, I think that's awesome. That's my hometown. The guy who runs it, he's a character. Like, and I mean, he's a dynamic person,
of course, and he's got it pegged.
Yeah,
I walked for him in this Fashion Week. I went through the whole process, so that was like good experiential knowledge that I kind of banked.
Yeah, and so, he's got the brand name. He's never going to let that go. No. So we're never going to be bigger than them. But I want to be good enough to where people are like, "Have you heard of Richmond Fashion Week?" Mm-hmm. Charleston, South Carolina. That's another big fashion week. Philly, all these places. I want to be up there, if not surpass them.
Okay. Have you got a strategy in place?
A little bit.
All right. All right.
It involves a lot of traveling.
Okay. Oh, there goes you traveling again.
Yeah,
Take your camera with you.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you'll all of a sudden you'll say, I'm in so-and-so, and then you'll get.
And that's kind of where social media has a big impact in a positive way.
Yeah. For sure. I definitely enjoy what social media, you get a bad rap sometimes.
Yeah.
But the positives that can come from it,
Yep.
Through social media, I got involved with the Silver Fox Squad.
Yeah.
Do you think that was a good move? Exactly.
Move, yeah.
Exactly. So there's a lot of positive things that can come from it.
And it all boils down to the person. Like, you have to keep yourself in check.
Naturally.
You know?
And that's a great thing that within Fashion Week, we all have accountability to one another.
Right.
Because you are dealing with a lot of models and a lot of, changing of wardrobes and a lot of things can go one way or the other. And it's really nice that we are very conscientious for safety.
Very much so.
Yeah.
This cancel culture and these predator people that are out there, we have to watch out for the crew and the team, because a lot of our models are underage.
Yes, they are.
Parents scrutinize us 24/7.
Of course.
And we always want to maintain a sense of,
Absolutely.
class and safety.
And I even go and talk to a lot of the parents when they're there and reassure them and tell them barriers that we do have in place. And that knowing that if they ever needed anything, that they could come to any of us or felt anything.
Yeah.
So we have put into place great barriers, and it's good because we do have so many underage.
Yeah. And we hear things, there's things that you hear like by word of mouth or, the rumor mill.
Yeah.
And even if they true or aren't true, they have to be squashed right away. They have to be addressed right away.
Yeah.
Because the brand is important and our own personal brands are on line.
One wrong move or one bad rep, and it's a wrap.
Yep.
RVA Fashion Week, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Right. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But I definitely, that is good that we have those in place.
Yeah.
And we're actively, always involved. And
Yep.
we have zero tolerance policy. I remember we've had instances come up and things have happened. It's like,
Right.
squash it immediately.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we're going to talk a little bit now, since we were on Fashion Week. How do you define your personal style? Because I know you have one. And it
Dark and gloomy. All right, so you know how I'm always like laughing and joking, right? I'm a very colorful person when it comes to like,
very much so.
I'm a professional troller, but I have to like reel it in because I know that some people don't get my humor. So that reflects the personal style, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at my photography, it's like a lot of black and white, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was by choice, yes, but also, I think the artwork or the photography was basically my subconscious, my internal coming out.
Okay.
That during that time, I don't know if I was happy. I don't know what depression is, right?
Right.
I can't comprehend it. Maybe I had it, maybe I didn't, right?
But at that time, you were expressing through your artwork.
That's why no one smiles in my pictures. It's always black and white. It's moody, because I feel like in a way that's kind of my lifestyle.
Okay.
Like I always wear black.
True.
It's either three colors, black, white, or red.
Okay.
I don't know why. It's just always been that way.
Other than your sharp suit today.
Yeah.
You got
it's black and night.
True. But you got suited up. You got suited up. You did.
Oh yeah. So that boils back to it. So back when I was living in DC, I had this corporate job, but after that job was over, I got into a black suit, black tie. That was the uniform. I would be out on the town partying it up. Black was always a thing. So between a certain hour, it was a suit. There was a suited Ryan, but then after another hour, it was the hoodie T-shirt Ryan.
Of course.
So,
but you do have your own kind of things that you cater towards style wise.
Mm-hmm.
You like your black, your white,
so black,
white, red,
flowers. I really rock a lot of flowers.
Really,
but it's so subdued. Like let's say,
yeah. It's not like fluorescent.
Yeah, it's just like a black pattern on a black flower pattern on a black tie, for example.
Okay,
it's like those little hints of subduedness, I guess you could say. But
I got you.
I would involve the street style. Like I would rock hoodies with the blazer.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
I would rock my own jewelry. You got, represent your own brand,
So in essence, your style was some of even your own work.
Yeah.
You're wearing what you design.
My T-shirts, all that stuff. Even the shoes. Like if I wear, I would rock a lot of Nikes, but New Balances are my thing.
Okay.
I remember I used to wear New Balances when I used to run track and field, and people would make fun of me.
And now New Balances.
But New Balances, New Balance was a product of the environment. That's like the official Washington, D.C. shoe. I had no idea.
You just like the shoe?
I just like the shoe. It was like the official dad shoe. But I still rock New Balances,
Yeah. But you still like to rock the suits every once in a while too. I do know.
Very often, yeah.
Yeah, you do. You've done a lot more, especially within Fashion Week, because of either events that we're doing or meetings that we're having, those kinds of things. So I've noticed you've added a lot more, pattern and color and a little texture here and there. So I see that. I see you, boy.
But I still always go back to the black.
Oh, of course. That's classic. That's classic. So do you find that you're using any of your artwork or your photography or your creativeness within your wardrobe? Inspiration for your wardrobe?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you feel that your wardrobe or your artwork are like one and the same at times?
Yes.
Okay.
And so the funny thing is that I will put these clothes on my subjects. I don't call them models. I call them all subjects.
Okay. All right. All subjects.
I put them all on my subjects.
So they can be taken subjectively.
Yeah. However you want to view them, Like I view every photo shoot that I do as a study.
Yeah.
Like if you go on my Instagram, it's very, very written there, study. It could be study Stephen Adkins, the subject Stephen Adkins.
Gotcha. But that's really what an artist does. You're really leaving it to the audience to take it.
Yeah. And it never, at that point in time when I made that decision, like not all models not everyone I shoot is a model, and even some of the models that I shoot aren't, models either. So it's just like, how do you like generalize it?
Right.
But
right. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Do you think that your style has changed over the years?
No.
Oh, how far back now? Come on now.
Since high school.
Really?
Yeah. I've been a suit and tie guy. Like I looked ridiculous in high school sometimes. Like I always
Who didn't though? Honestly.
I always rock the, Well, also I think it's like the upbringing.
Okay.
I guess I had parents who military as well, so they always made me come to school correct.
Yeah.
But also where we're from, the Philippines, they had uniforms. So you had to like take care of your clothes.
Look a certain way. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, well, it's kind of funny because my dad was in the military, but he was out, but it was very, structured wardrobe environment. And then I went to a military school.
Yeah.
So I can very much appreciate the uniform. You had to take care of it. You had to look a certain way. And it did translate even into adult life because it's ingrained at such a young age.
Like I had clothes specifically for school. Then I would change, fold them up,
Get out of here. Come on, man.
Yeah, and then I would.
That's awesome.
This is like in school. Then I go to basketball or track practice.
So it'd be wardrobe changes.
Yeah, in the same day, because you don't want to get sweaty in your clothes, know. And then, high school just always kind of been into fashion. So I would always wear like dress up whenever I got the chance to, or look as stylish as possible.
Okay.
And then.
So even ever since high school up till now, you feel like your style really hasn't changed that much.
Changed.
That's crazy to think about, bro. Because think about the eras, the 90s and then the 2000s, all of those. So everything's trendy, everything changes. And you kind of kept a medium.
Yeah, and I do follow the trends every now and then, but it was only for a couple hours.
2 hours.
2 or 3 hours. Like if I was on a date, like when I was younger, I'd be trendy.
Okay, for the date.
Yeah. But then, you go home, back to hoodies, basketball shorts, or,
Right.
And then you're, the rest of the time, professional kind of suits that didn't fit me.
I love it.
Things like that. So, but yeah, it has not changed. Like I would follow trends, but.
Yeah. And I think really as a creative, you know, when you feel like you follow trends, you're selling your soul because, you know,
you kind of,
I want to be able to do my own thing.
that goes back to the being uninspired.
Totally.
I'm just following the masses.
For me, you know, I love I have my own personal style, but I like taking inspiration from others and then turning it into my own thing where it's not so necessarily fitting within a trendy mold. But,
Right.
you know, I can get ideas.
Yeah.
But I'm like, how can I tweak that a little bit?
Right.
And I think that's a true creative, right?
Yeah.
They want to make something of their own. So,
I feel like a trend or a fad, you'll rock it. But you do need to make it your own.
Yeah.
You can't look like a carbon copy. And I remember one day I was at a wedding and I looked around, and this was a point when everyone's wearing the gray suit with the white collar, the black tie. I mean, everyone looked like they were shopping at Express. I was like, what's going on here? Like, this is crazy. But thank God I didn't look like that. I looked like I was going to a funeral.
Right. Kind of stuck out like a sore thumb. But there's nothing wrong with the individuality. I mean, that's
some weddings are like that. You could funeral wedding.
Yeah. Right. I hear you. Man, you crazy.
But yeah, my personal style hasn't changed much.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I know, I mean, man, the time has flown by.
Yeah.
This has been a really, really good podcast.
Yeah.
I know I really wanted to kind of dive in a little bit about, you know, your creative side and talk a little bit about Fashion Week and, you know, where you see us going as a whole and, you know, just learn a little bit more about you and some of the things I knew, but some of the things I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I definitely wanted my audience to learn more about you. So one of the things I always like to do is, you know, letting our audience know where they can find you. So where are some of the ways that if someone to find more about Ryan Azia, how would they do that?
I'm horrible with social media. So I only
Just put it out there.
I only keep one, and that's Instagram.
Okay.
At RYANAZIA, Ryan Azia. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I have a Twitter, I have a LinkedIn, but I don't even check it.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays, man, IG is really the main one.
And you know, it's just another form of communication for me.
Yeah. Oh, of course, the DMing aspect of it. Are you still looking for current, you know, clients, photography clients?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. He put it out there. He's like, I'm capped off. I'm done with that.
For the year.
You're done for the year.
Yeah, I'm booked solid for the rest of the year. So
think about that for a second, Ryan. Like for somebody that really, I catch that you really didn't want to do it that much.
I love it though.
Now you do. Or have you always loved it?
No, I've grown to like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But now you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because think about the relationships you get to make.
Yeah, and that's the important thing.
Yeah.
So I think at first when I did not love it is when I realized I was taking pictures of things that I didn't want to take pictures of. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now I'm very fortunate to now being able to be sought after for my style.
Yeah.
So people are paying me to shoot us my way, which is flattering as well as like a very humbling experience.
Of course.
Because not many photographers like
they get told how to take.
Yeah, they get told what to do and stuff like that.
They're like, I want you because of your style. Mm-hmm. And it's very, very unique. And that's
I worked hard for that.
Yeah.
I didn't have a choice. But it was.
That's cool. So sorry, he's booked up for the year. You're 2023 potential, you know. You can start doing these little like sign up links and then get them to book and then have, you know, all that kind of stuff set up for you. That would be great. I
think I've been working with some studios, I think locally, and the way they're trying to set it up is kind of like, you know how I went to Atlanta and shot like 15 in like 7 hours, kind of like that, where it's just like literally one session. You go in, boom, 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 you're out, get your pictures,
right?
You know. Because that
very
works,
efficient.
Yeah, that works well for me because everything's done in one day. Mm-hmm. You do 15, whatever needs to be done in one day, and they're not just like headshots. Like it actually, if it was like simple headshots, like okay, you know. But these are actually like we take time to get to know a person.
Poses, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, even when we did one upstairs and
we're just talking.
Yeah. And then just naturally catching the moment. Yeah. And that's what I really, really like about it, is that you can catch the moment. But
And usually when you build a rapport with your subject, body mirroring starts happening.
mm-hmm.
So that's when like you start talking, and then all of a sudden you start posing the same way. You're just like, oh wait, then you capture that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You perfected it, brother. You've done a good job.
Got lucky. That's
true, yeah. But also the passion and being able to, put forth the effort and master your craft, learn the camera, all those types of things. So, yeah, that's really, really cool. So, yeah, like I say, Ryan Azia on Instagram, but no more booking at the moment. But that's a good problem to have, bro.
Yeah.
It's a good problem to have.
But I'll still communicate. Like,
of course.
I get a lot of DMs with advice and things like that. And usually my management company's like, stop giving free advice. But I'm just like, whatever.
I know. You're looking to help folks, man.
Yeah.
You're looking to help folks. Well, one of the things I like to do as we're wrapping up our podcast, and I'm really, really had a great time with you, is I like to do a couple of little rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Off the cuff. They're not bad. They're real simple. Real simple. So what is one app on your phone that you cannot live without?
One app
on your phone that you cannot live without.
Well, I'm a hustler. eBay.
So why?
I like to flip stuff.
Okay.
I like to shop on Facebook Marketplace and sell it to somebody.
So he's a flipper.
I'm a flipper.
So of all apps, the one you can't live without is eBay.
Yeah.
I like that.
I need it.
That. That's an entrepreneur right there, because he's like always thinking business. Like, how can I make that next?
Or
who's got that dollar?
Who's got the better deal?
Ooh.
I like finding deals.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right. I'm gonna have to. I do have the eBay app now. You kind of inspiring me a little bit. I might have to go look at it. All right. And then the last question: what would be the best advice for you to give your 20-year-old self? So if you could go to your 20-year-old self, what would be the best advice you could give them?
Oh, that's easy. Because I would have told myself this the other day: stay focused.
Okay.
Period.
Yeah.
Find whatever it is you like and stay focused. If you're going to be, the best leaf raker in the planet, focus on it.
Awesome. Awesome.
I don't know. I don't know why I said leaf raker, because mentally I got to rake weeds when I get home. But
you got chores to do when you get home. He's all like, I'm going to be the best leaf raker on the planet.
If I'm going to be the best sweeper, I don't know.
Yeah. Ditch digger. It don't matter.
Yeah.
So to your 20-year-old self, you'd say whatever it is your passion is that you'd want to do, stay focused on.
Stay focused, yeah.
Yeah.
And don't give up.
Yeah, don't give up. I love it, man.
The universe likes to throw things at you.
Naturally.
They like to play games. But so, this past fashion week, I wasn't gonna show. I had 24 hours to make a collection.
Oh man.
But what happened was I made a decision. I think the universe was just messing with me the whole time. There was COVID running rampant, all these things were happening. And I think I made a decision on Thursday night that said, I'm gonna see this through. And then the universe blessed me.
And you have, and that was an amazing collection, right?
Yeah, thank you.
And you had all hands on deck too, man. You guys were hustling.
Yeah.
I remember.
Up until the 11th hour.
Yeah. But you got it done.
Yeah.
Got it done. That's pretty awesome.
And it threw a lot of people off because no one really knew I designed at that point.
Yeah. Not on to that large of a scale.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So now that's a whole nother avenue that's been opened up for you, bro.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I love it. Man, I really appreciate you being on the show today.
No, thank you, man.
I had a great time.
Yeah.
Like it was a lot of fun. We got into a lot of good things, a lot of good
reminiscing.
Yeah, some of these things I had forgotten about.
Yeah.
And to see how far we've come and where we're going. So, but yeah, be sure to definitely check out, Ryan's Instagram page.
Yeah.
Might even see a couple of photos of yours truly on there, I believe.
Yeah.
We've done some work together.
Yeah, they're there.
Yeah, they're there. All right, cool. Well, again, thank you guys for joining us on the Suit Up podcast. We appreciate you being with us today. Thank you, Ryan, again for being with us.
Appreciate it.
And be sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and we will be seeing you soon.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you watching all the way till the end today, and thanks again for being a part of the Suit Up podcast. So we have a new way of support here at Suit Up with Patreon. You can subscribe in different tiers to support the show. The great news is that each has a different tier, and within that tier, there are different levels of access that you will have to myself, but all will support the show in a major way. So one of the tiers may be access to questions or interaction. Another tier may be an opportunity where you could submit photos or get some wardrobe advice. And even another tier, we may even be able to set up a personal Zoom call where you and I interact for 15, 20, 30 minutes. So these would be great ways that allows access to get some of those questions and some of the things that you'd like done answered. Now, naturally, if you can't support monetarily, we totally understand, but you can always subscribe for free and like and share our video with your friends and audience that you feel would enjoy watching Suit Up. So thanks again for joining.